Whether the President Donald Trump era portends good things or bad for your business, one thing that's certain is that the relationship between rhetoric and the law is about to change. Now, whether that turns out to be good or bad, well, that also remains to be seen. What I am sure of is that the way rhetoric is used in everyday communication is about to change. Big time, as Mr. Trump would say. Now, as I've said here several times, I'm not an attorney, but my concerns about the way business rhetoric and the law interact and intersect is more practical than legal. Just as intellectual property is managed most days by applying common sense, so is the way you speak most days. I expressed concern about the way rhetoric is applied in business and politics several years ago, but where my worry then was mostly hyperbolic, in the Trump era of rhetoric and the law, this has become more than just a theoretical conversation. It's unlikely you have the mastery of odd rhetoric that Donald Trump is capitalizing on. It's not possible for you to have his reach. So the issue is what you do in a world where the relationship between rhetoric and the law is adopting such an altered state. Now, the disconnect here is the idea of context not mattering. Listen to President-elect Trump, and it's easy to believe we've entered into an anything-goes era of communication. So while it's possible that context may not matter if you're Donald Trump, it may matter more than ever for the rest of us. In fact, it does. The intersection of when context might not matter and rhetoric and the law as an idea, well, that intersection is social media. What are you saying out there anyway, and how? Take a look at the issue as brought up presciently by the New York Times. Was that Twitter blast false or just honest hyperbole? Is taking on a whole new meaning, so thank you, Donald Trump. Listen, Donald Trump is the social media president, or at least the one who uses it rather than communicate through the press. So where does that leave your business? I could say something generic here like, get good at social media, and I am saying that, but you need to manage context differently than Donald Trump does, and it's complicated. Here's just how complicated. I've written many times about search engine optimization. Back in the day, we sold SEO services, and we were, pretty good at it. But we stopped selling SEO as a standalone a few years back because as a standalone, SEO stopped delivering the kind of value we like to provide our clients. For a while, we called the holistic approach we take on digital marketing influency. Along the way, we've also called it content marketing, as have many, and a few other things as well. But the buzzword is not the point, and that is the point. In the post-Trump rhetoric and the law world, buzz matters less every day unless you are the Donald. Rhetoric is not good enough. Business success is now about really granular execution. If you've bought ads through Google's AdWords, you might have heard of something called quality score. And because Google is in both the advertising business and the search business, they don't sell ads to just anyone. Nor does offering them more money for ads necessarily get you what you want. And while the first half of what I just said is not exactly true because anyone can buy ads, the second half is very real. If Google doesn't like your ads, they will cost more, or even worse, not really run. So you get into an auction for ad placement, but bidding doesn't win the auction. If Google likes your ads, they get a higher quality score. The higher the quality score, the less you pay for the clicks, and the better you do against others bidding at auction for the same words you want. For example, this morning we turned on an ad for a client, and Google's advice was to bid $2.72 per click. Well, because those ads were written in a way that completely matches the page they pointed at, the ads ranked ahead of all of their competitors, and they cost just 90 cents each. In a nutshell, that describes the result of high-quality score. And of course, there's actually more to it than that. Now imagine that just that one little paragraph in just that one small part of effective digital marketing is on the table. Rhetoric doesn't cut it. Not in that world. Micro execution is key. You are not Donald Trump. You just live in his world. And if rhetoric and the law keep moving in the direction they've been moving lately, you are going to have to learn to react. So, you want some help with that? I'm the Answer Guy, and I'll be back.